Hello, my name is Grandpa Donald Draayer, and I'm the author of The Adventures of Big Dog, Troubles and Triumph. And this is a glimpse of what I'm all about. I've been an extrovert my whole life. I enjoy people, leadership, challenges, speaking, and writing. Teaching children, K-12, was my chosen career, a perfect fit. Others encouraged me to apply for school administration positions, and to get those positions, I completed my degree work, including the doctorate. Then I served in these positions: elementary, middle, and then high school principal, 24 years as school superintendent, then a lecturer of record at the University of Minnesota Graduate School, and finally the nationwide speaker for the Minneapolis Search Institute on developmental assets in lives of children. Professional writing and storytelling have been significant lifetime activities for me. I've written scores of professional articles on many subjects and numerous newspaper columns. In the last 15 years, I've published 14 paperback books on multiple subjects, including the children's book, The Adventures of Big Dog, Troubles and Triumph. A high priority for me are parent-child relationships, especially in the first 5 years of life. Why? Well, that's when preschool child's brain development is bigger and faster than at any other time in their life. Dirk and Dawn want a dog of their own. They live with their parents in a house located on a cul-de-sac on top of a high hill. A large golden retriever named Big Dog lives in the house next door. They play together in the outside yard whenever they can. It so happens that the neighbors have business out of town. Dirk and Dawn are delighted when the neighbors ask their parents if they will take in their dog. With reluctance, the parents say yes. In the first few minutes of Big Dog's arrival, the troubles begin, and they continue during the entire stay. I have always loved dogs from the time I was a very small child to this very day. And I wanted children who did not have a dog learn about a dog, and a couple of children who did not have a dog. And so this story enables them to talk to their parents about getting a dog, which I had to do when I was a boy to get a dog, and my own children had to do it with me. I get many of my ideas in the middle of the night, and I get up and write for an hour or two, and that's one source. The other source is really recalling beautiful things that happened in my own childhood, and dogs were a part of it. This dog is unique. This dog has many different personalities, and each of them is talked about in the story and is illustrated. Excitable, adventuresome, and also somewhat problematic. And that makes the story very interesting from beginning to end. Yes, indeed. The books I write come from my own child in part, but they also come from the values I've acquired later in life, and I try to share those values in a format that other people would enjoy reading. And that's what this Big Dog book is all about. I was thinking when I started to write this book about my own children and grandchildren, as well as the children living in our neighborhood today. and the posterity that this dog book might give to them, which would have a little of me in them and also a little of their own experiences. The challenges in this particular book, since it deals with the troubles that Big Dog got into, is that each trouble had to be very different than the previous one, and they had to kind of grow in importance over time. And somehow it had to come to a closure that would come to a very high note, high positive note. No, I had two little dogs when I was a child, both of which died by the time I had gone to college. And I have enjoyed other kinds of dogs, particularly golden retrievers, ever since. I believe the most important thing that this book can accent are positive human relationships in a family context. Every family has its ups and downs. Sometimes dogs and animals create the problems, and sometimes they help ameliorate them. This book aims to make a positive difference in the life of parents and their children, so the next generation will have also a happy experience as an adult. Oh, there are many things that I learned through this pandemic, one of which was that I needed to learn to communicate using another form of technology, the Zoom. Furthermore, I gained insight into the fact that not everybody came to the same conclusion of how we're going to get rid of this pandemic. Some people were willing to take shots and others were not. And finally, I think what was really important was to learn new ways of expressing love to one another, since we could not give hugs or even come face to face on some occasions. And all of those new challenges were met through this pandemic. It's clear to me, as I've worked over the past weeks and even months with persons that are associated with Authors Press, that they are in the business of not only selling books, but making books available to people that are going to be meaningful in their own life. And that is a rapport that has grown over time. Well, I'm just full of excitement about the man I worked with today who came here and encouraged me to be ready for important questions and to be responsive to things that will make a difference, that will communicate with people about this Big Dog book. He brought his own life experiences to me on the side so that I would have a better idea of why certain things were being done in a certain way. And every one of those ideas, as I thought about them, made great sense to me. And so I appreciated the expertise that was sent to me at my door today and who stuck with me to the very end of the day to get the job done right. And that's something I really believe in. I dedicate this book to parents who are raising little children, preschool children, K-12 children, because it's a book that they can enjoy together and will give opportunity to talk about issues not only in the book, but in their personal lives. Last, and certainly not least, I dedicate this book to the two dogs in my childhood, Scotty and Skipper, who got me so much in love with them that I've been in love with dogs my whole life, even to the point of writing a book about dogs, hoping that it will help other children come to love their dogs and their animals and pets as much as I do.
Hello from Marianne, who's married to the grandpa who wrote the Big Dog story. And the Big Dog story really is, as much as the picture on the front kind of implies it's just an adventure with a very big dog as the center person in the whole story. But a lot of things are weaved around that story because of the Grandpa Draayer who wrote it, who has many, many interests. Certainly he loves dogs, but I think even more than he loves dogs, he loves children of all ages. In more recent years, he's become very conscious, particularly of the first 5 years in a little one's life. And he has spent enormous amount of energy not writing stories about dogs and little children, but writing about what the importance, the great importance of that little tiny brain that is really beginning to grow since the very time of conception. All right, well, I really want to just kind of conclude these little moments I have by congratulating Don on the attention that is now being drawn to this wonderful little story that behind it has such a good philosophy of life and such a good encouragement for parents. And I'm thinking that maybe he wants to take another breath and slow down just a little bit. Maybe there'll be more stories. Maybe this was his favorite and his very best story to make available to others. He is who you met today. He's that way in this house. He's that way everywhere he goes. You met the real Don Draayer today, the Grandpa Draayer, the author of this book. And it's my pleasure to be Mrs. Grandma Draayer.
Again, this is Grandpa Don Draayer, author of The Adventures of Big Dog, Troubles and Triumph. Thank you for watching and have a great day.